other worries, the road course experience of Jim Richards was showing. In fairly difficult conditions, he and the other road and race circuit drivers had an easier time in coming to terms with the track. After an initial burst of enthusiasm from Denzel Meade and George Elliott in the first race, Richards, Charlie O'Brien and Barry Graham were showing the way. Kim Jane and John Faulkner had a race-long battle. But the big winner on the day was Jim Richards with 2 from 2. Back at Calder Park for round 3, and George Elliott, Max Dumsney and Barry Graham headed the pack. Ken Laws had the first incident with a tap on the wall. While Elliott and Graham contested the front place, back in the pack, John Stepanek and Wayne Gardner, who was having his first race in a NASCAR, were lucky to escape with only minor damage after this lose in turn 3. Gardner recovered, and in a race of attrition with his car down on power, he managed a very creditable 3rd place. Kim Jane, who led for a number of laps, managed to recover from this spin. But there was carnage on the track when George Elliott ran into Ian Thomas, who was eventually hit by John Faulkner in a very costly pileup. The winner was the consistent Max Dumsney from Walter Giles and Wayne Gardner. Adelaide under lights, and local driver John Stepanek led from pole position, to the delight of the big partisan crowd. Alan Grice had the first of his moments on turn 1, but managed to keep the car alight and join the back of the pack. Up at the front, Max Dumsney was being kept busy by a very rapid Charlie O'Brien. Paul Freestone had a big spin at the end of the straight, and when the smoke cleared, was still in racing trim. Denzel Meade managed to miss everyone in this lose, but slowed down a dodging Ron Goodman. Then Alan Grice got into the marbles and was obliged to use the wall to slow down. Grice's race was run. John Faulkner had a lose in the same place as Grice, but with a better result. Perry Schubert saved Barry Graham from certain disaster by lending him a panel or two, and was given no thanks for his trouble. He then had his own lose with no one to catch him. Charlie O'Brien eventually outlasted the Valvoline cars of Max Dumsney and Barry Graham to take the win. Calder Park for round 5, and Ian Thomas, after a very big accident in Adelaide practice, was out of the blocks like a scalded cat. John Stepanek and Neville Lance removed themselves from the competition. Then John Faulkner hit the wall and came down to take out an unfortunate Max Dumsney. Max's car caught fire, and though it must have been pretty warm in there, Max was loath to get out, hoping the fire marshal could get it under control before the good bits were barbecued. Unbelievably, his crew managed to fix the car well enough for him to rejoin the race and finish in the points. Brian Sala and Trevor Oliver were having their share of action on turn 3, while Walter Giles and Barry Graham swapped the lead. But heading the pack when the flag dropped was a delighted George Elliott with his first ever NASCAR win. Surfers Paradise was a split round, with one race on the Saturday and one on Sunday. It wasn't a happy hunting ground for Alan Grice, who was caught trying to go the wrong way and took a hit from Kim Jane for his trouble. Charlie O'Brien made a rare mistake, first undercooking this corner and then overcooking it, while Ian Thomas turned his car into a chicane. On Sunday, Alan Grice and Max Dumsney were wearing each other's paint. Max retired soon after. Brad Jones took a ride on Charlie O'Brien's back wheel, with Brad's race ending at the wall. Charlie somehow managed to miss everything and went on to finish fourth. But the man of the round was Gentleman Jim Richards, with 2 wins from 2 races. And so the point score coming into the grand final reads Charlie O'Brien on 950.